Hi and welcome to 5-minute reviews. During these 5 minutes, we will do our best to present you some interesting topics related to .NET, mostly .NET performance. My name is Szymon Kulec and today I want to present quite an interesting pattern that you can find in EventStore. So EventStore, that's a database that you can use whenever you want to use an event sourcing approach in your application, project, whatever. And the pattern that I want to present today is related to the way how EventStore persists its records and how your events eventually are flashed to the disk and how they can be accessed after all. So EventStore is based on a transaction log. Whenever you commit a transaction, whenever you append events to one of your aggregates or streams, whatever phrase you prefer, what it does, it will flash eventually. It will write the data to the file, and eventually it will flash file buffers. It will call the flash file buffers function to ensure that data are properly flashed to the disk. If we take a look how a simple or a specific log record is structured, we will see that it will contain some data, version, log position, all that stuff. But the interesting way is how it is actually appended at the end of this virtual log file, because the log file it consists of chunks, and chunks can be scavenged. So you can think of it as a logical file, like a logical long file, but the implementation is a bit different. Nevertheless, if we take a look how a specific log record is written, we can see that, so that there is a memory stream that is used in here. But the most important thing is that every single write, it will be the length is written at the beginning of it. So you can think of it like, let's create a prefix of the length of the record that you want to write. Then write the record itself. So we are just writing the record to the underlying storage. But then at the very end, what we do is that we append the length again. So now step for a second and think of it. Why do we prepend, or why do we use the length as the prefix of the specific log record? I mean, it's easy. If you have a specific point in your log file and you want to traverse several log records, you need to have its length, because otherwise you don't know how much data do you need to read to go through a specific log record. So that works if you want to go forward. So if you want to start from the specific point of view and seek forward till the end of the file. But what if you want to read in reverse? What if we want to traverse the log file in the opposite direction? Then we would need to think of like going at the very beginning of the file and scanning it back. That would be totally useless. So that's why the length is appended at the end of the log record as well. So with this, you can, from the specific point in the file, you can either go forward, it means using the length prefix, just skipping the log record one after another, or if you want to go in reverse, then you can use the suffix, the length that is appended at the end, to skip the files and move towards the beginning of the file. You can say that that's a pattern that can be used only in EventStore. But if you take a look at it once again and think, for instance, about blobs in Azure, then you can think like, okay, what if I use the very same pattern for append only blob? Append only blob, that's an interesting blob that you can basically append a block and commit with one append only blob. That's an interesting blob that you can basically append one block and commit it at the same time. So if we use this structure by appending the length at the beginning, then pushing the body, then appending the length again, you would create a blob that is traversable in the very same way EventStore is capable of traversing its log. So even if that's like a really small, you can say it's a small detail in EventStore, that's quite an interesting pattern if you want to create a file, create a blob possibly, that is traversable in both directions. I hope that you find it interesting. Take care, see you soon, bye.